When you first try creating images with AI, you probably start simple, right? Like draw a dog or maybe a futuristic city.
Yeah.
You get a picture. It's functional. But there's this fundamental difference, this leap from just being a user to becoming a real creative director. It happens when you stop sort of asking the AI and start, well, commanding it.
Absolutely. Yeah, welcome to the deep dive, everyone. Today, we are opening up a whole stack of source material that basically proves the secret to getting those professional, really jaw-dropping AI images. It isn't some hidden software feature. It's the specific instruction set you feed it.
So we're going to unlock your control over things you probably didn't even realize you could dictate. We're talking precise studio lighting, specific camera lenses,
Yeah.
even dialing in the emotional texture.
Yeah.
And this deep dive is all about tying that technical language directly back to, your business goals.
Exactly. We've got case studies here covering everything from like tricky e-commerce standardization all the way to hyper-personalized marketing stuff. So our mission today is pretty clear. We want to show you how to speak that professional language. That way, your AI results become consistent, they become scalable, and honestly, perfect for the job every single time. Let's kind of unpack this shift in thinking.
Okay, so the moment you bring money into the picture, transactions, trust, suddenly becomes the most important visual element, doesn't it? Thinking about an e-commerce store, we need to move past just a good-looking image. It needs to feel trustworthy, high value, like a real product.
You got it. Take, say, a quick phone snapshot of a leather wallet. To get that ready for a high-end website, you can't just tell the AI, make the product look good. It won't cut it. You have to actually speak the language of a studio photographer.
Right, so if we need that sense of professional dimension, that 3D feel, what specific lighting should we be asking for? Demanding, even.
Okay, so you command a 3-point lighting setup. This is standard stuff in a photo studio. You specify the soft key light, that's your main light source, maybe at a 45-degree angle. Then you need a fill light. Its job is to soften the really dark shadows the key light creates. But here's the bit most people miss: the rim light.
The rim light, that usually positioned behind the product, isn't it?
Okay.
What effect does that give the customer looking at the image?
It creates this thin, bright outline right around the object. It literally separates the product from the background. It makes it look genuinely three-dimensional, high-end, and that separation, it communicates quality, like, instantly.
And then we combine that light control with specific commands about the lens.
Yeah.
If I want that classic, really professional look, where the wallet is sharp, but the background is just beautifully smooth, buttery, how do I ask for that? I'm guessing blurry background is too vague.
Oh, yeah, way too generic. You tell the AI, use an 85mm lens that compresses the scene really nicely, and pair it with a wide f2.8 aperture.
F2.8. So that's the technical lever controlling the depth of field. How much is in focus?
That's the one. That combo gives you a shallow depth of field. So your product stays perfectly sharp, tack sharp, but you get that soft, lovely blur behind it. Photographers call it bokeh. It just screams professional presentation, signals quality, makes customers feel, more confident clicking buy.
That's really fascinating. It shows the AI is actually modeling real-world optics. And that level of detail, that attention, it scales up beautifully too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially thinking about HR or marketing departments.
Oh, totally. Think about the nightmare scenario. Trying to standardize team headshots when everyone sends in photos from home, terrible lighting, messy backgrounds. Well, this source material we looked at suggests a prompt that solves that, like instantly.
Okay, how do you unify dozens of really mismatched photos just using a text prompt?
You demand total unity. You instruct identical background. Specify the material, even say light gray concrete, subtly blurred. Then strict framing and sizing, mandate a 1.1 square ratio. And this is critical. Tell the AI to make sure everyone's eyes are level on the same horizontal line.
That alone would make a huge difference. The final gallery wouldn't look like some amateur collage. But what about the lighting? How do we get sophisticated lighting without sending everyone to a studio?
You specify the Rembrandt lighting technique. You're not just asking for good lighting. Rembrandt lighting, it creates this very specific, small triangle of light on the cheek that's opposite the main light source.
Okay, so the lighting itself has an artistic quality. It adds shadow, depth, a bit of gravitas, maybe?
Precisely. It looks intentional, it looks professional, unified. It transforms basic headshots into something that feels like it came from a proper high-end corporate photo shoot.
So, stepping back.
Yeah.
If the main goal is standardization across a whole brand, what's the single biggest advantage of using these really specific technical terms?
Specificity ensures consistent output, which instantly communicates professionalism and company unity. Right, so moving beyond just the basics of branding, these detailed prompts let us actually control the narrative. We can create like massive perceived value just through hyper-personalization and playing with cinematic scale.
Okay, let's talk about hyper-personalized sales outreach. Say you're emailing a potential client, ABC Corp, their logo's orange, they're based in Singapore. You want your email to really stand out. Generic stock photos are just useless here, right?
Totally worthless. So what you do is you embed their brand details right into an image, maybe an image of yourself. Let's say you're pictured working at a desk in the image. You tell the AI, change the notebook cover in the shot to the client's exact brand hex code. Let's say it's hashtag FFA500 for orange, and then maybe ask it to subtly print their logo on that notebook cover too.
The subtlety is key there. Making it feel natural, like it belongs in the scene, not just obviously pasted on. That shows an incredible amount of effort. Even if it was AI generated,
It really does. And then for the background, don't just put office window. Specify the Singapore skyline even better. With the iconic Marina Bay Sands building clearly visible in the distance, you didn't just mention an office, you mentioned their city, their landmark. That level of context, it's kind of startling.
yeah, it makes the client feel seen, important,
Yeah.
recognized. It probably stops them scrolling through their inbox, right? Shows you respect their business enough to do your homework.
And we can apply that same idea, that power, to scale and perceived value too. Like if you're promoting a local event, maybe a workshop, a standard digital flyer, kind of boring, let's be honest. The goal here is to command this impressive, maybe even global scene for that simple flyer.
Okay, so instead of just showing the flyer, we tell the AI to place it, maybe on a giant digital billboard. Somewhere iconic, like Shibuya Crossing in Tokyo, at night. Suddenly, our local event looks internationally famous.
Yes, exactly. And then you layer in the technical cinematography commands. You demand the low-angle shot, looking up at the billboard. That makes it look monumental, really important. And maybe add a deliberate motion blur effect to the crowds and the cars whizzing by below.
The motion blur adds that cinematic tension. It emphasizes this is a busy, living, global hub, and your ad is the clear, stable focus point within all that energy.
Whoa. I mean, just imagine scaling that feeling of global importance, right?
Yeah.
That high-octane city vibe, applying that instantly to all your social media posts. You're not just generating a picture anymore, you're generating emotion.
So, thinking about maximum impact, maximum surprise for the viewer, which hits harder. Is it the hyper-personalization, like seeing your own company's hex code? Or is it that dramatic cinematic scale, the motion blur at Shibuya?
It's the contextual relevance, like placing the client's logo naturally or making a simple ad look internationally famous.
Okay, let's shift focus now to automation. Because often the challenge isn't just making one beautiful image. It's building a repeatable system, a workflow, to generate maybe hundreds of them, all consistently, for large projects.
Yeah, think about a wedding photographer. They might need to edit hundreds, maybe thousands of photos, all with the same romantic kind of vintage style. Doing that manually, it's prohibitive. It takes way too long.
So the prompt here isn't really for generating one photo from scratch. It's more about building in applications like AI Core around a single preset prompt, a preset that every single uploaded image will then run through for styling.
Precisely. And that preset prompt has to define the aesthetic very clearly. Things like vintage film look, soft golden hour lighting.
Yeah.
Here's the really tricky technical problem that always crops up in batch editing, especially with styles like that: color correction. So the prompt absolutely must mandate making sure the white of the wedding dress stays pure white and does not turn yellow.
Why is that specific instruction about the white so crucial? What happens otherwise?
Well, when you dial in that golden hour look or a vintage film aesthetic, you're essentially flooding the image with warm tones, yellows, oranges, reds. The AI, it naturally tends towards color saturation, or sometimes what we call prompt drift. It gets pulled by the dominant style request.
So the warmth bleeds into the white fabric, making it look yellowish or muddy.
Exactly. You know, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes, especially with really delicate colors like pure white or specific pastels. So building that specific guardrail into the preset prompt, telling it explicitly to keep that wedding dress pure white, is incredibly smart. It prevents just massive amounts of manual rework later and keeps the client happy.
That kind of hyper-precision must also be absolutely essential for things like data-driven A/B marketing tests. Say a travel company is testing ads for different destinations in Vietnam, maybe Da Nang versus Ha Giang versus Phu Quoc. Data integrity is paramount there.
Oh, totally. The integrity is all about testing only one variable at a time, the destination image. So your instruction to the AI has to be crystal clear. Keep 100% of the text, overlay, logo, and CTA button identical across all variations.
Right, because if the logo shifts slightly or the font weight changes even a tiny bit between the Da Nang version and the Fuquoc version, you're accidentally testing multiple variables, your data gets compromised. You don't know why one ad performed better.
That's the key. You lock down everything except the image, then you detail the image variations, maybe focusing on the feeling. Pylane Pass, dramatic layers of mountains and mist for one option, or maybe Fuquoc, pristine white sand, clear turquoise water for the tranquil option. The visual changes, maybe drastically, but all the other crucial ad elements locked down tight.
And this consistency challenge, it also applies directly to things like brand mascots.
Right.
If you have, say, a robot mascot that needs to show lots of different emotions across different campaigns or website pages, the robot itself can't suddenly change shape or color.
Exactly. You have to demand absolute consistency of its shape, its proportions, its metallic color, everything across all the outputs. Then you layer on the specific emotional action you need. If the robot needs to look confused, you might ask for its head tilted, maybe with a little question mark symbol spinning above it.
So the emotion is dynamic, the pose changes, but the core brand asset, the robot's design, remains perfectly static.
And just thinking practically, for maximum efficiency down the line for the design team, you add that final, really practical technical requirement. Ask for PNG images with a transparent background.
Ah, yes. That saves just huge amounts of time later when someone needs to place that mascot image onto a complex webpage background or into a brochure layout. No manual cutting out needed.
So when you're dealing with potentially hundreds, even thousands of images in these automated workflows, what is the single biggest operational risk that using detailed prompting really helps mitigate?
It minimizes inconsistencies, ensuring every output maintains brand style and saves hours of manual rework. Hashtag big idea recap and outro.
Okay, so the big idea weaving through all of this, it's really this fundamental shift in authority, isn't it? You absolutely have to move away from just sort of asking the AI for a picture. You need to start telling it exactly what you want it to create. And you do that using the sophisticated domain-specific language, the technical vocabulary of photography, of lighting, of design. That's how you achieve results that are precise, consistent, and crucially instantly scalable.
Yeah, based on everything we've looked at in the source material, it seems like every truly successful prompt, the ones that deliver professional results, they're basically a detailed instruction set. And they usually describe three key things: the precise setting, the specific feeling or emotion you want to evoke, and underpinning it all, the business goal you're trying to achieve, that level of detail, that depth.
Yeah.
It elevates you from just being a passive user to being an active, creative image director. You're taking back control from the machine, in a way.
Absolutely. Which means the key to getting these game-changing images, it's genuinely in your hands. It's not locked away in some secret new tech that only a few people have access to. And, if using this kind of highly technical language makes our image output so much better, it really raises an important question, doesn't it? What happens when we start applying that same level of technical design-focused specificity to the prompts we write for, say, text generation or even video AI?
That's a really interesting thought to leave people with. That's the challenge to you listening today. Maybe start practicing just by applying one new technical term from our discussion, perhaps F2.8, to control your depth of field, or specify Rembrandt lighting for more sophisticated shadows into your very next image prompt. Just see the immediate professional difference it can make. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive.